Happy Tuesday, everybody, and welcome back. It has been a great week, and I hope you've had a great week. I am so excited, as always, to be here. I am living the hot mess today just because I have been teaching all day long, and I wasn't even sure I was going to do a live today because I had been running behind and wasn't quite ready. But I miss you. And so I'm here, and you're here, and I'm so excited for it. So today, if you read the heading, I said we're going to talk software and cutting and stitching. And some of you have software, some of you are scared of your software. I am sometimes too. So I use Dimes software, and I have Perfect Embroidery Pro and several others that you hear me talk about. So I thought I would show how you could take one design or kind of clip art and some things that we could do with it. Hey, Jill, it's good to see you. Glad you're back in town. And so we're going to talk about some of the different ways. And as we've been doing for the whole month, I've been setting my table and getting ready for Thanksgiving. I absolutely love so far what we've done. I love the clay. I love the paper. I love what we've been building. So I thought I would kind of show in software what I did for tonight's project. So let me pull that up and let's see how that went. And I talk about the software because it speaks to the two loves that I have. It speaks to vinyl and it speaks to embroidery. So let me show you what I mean by that. So the first thing that I'm going to do is go over to our craft shapes and just click on that, and it's going to bring me a drop down. And you have different categories, animals and hobbies and holidays. And holidays is what I'm going to talk about, and Thanksgiving to be specific. And you can see that I've already been playing with this Leaf 01. So I'm going to double click on that, and that just brings it to my mat. And right now, this is just a image. It's not a stitch file. It's not even a cut file yet. So this is an image, and I have several things that I can do with it. So speaking of an image, let's select it, and I'm going to go over to my effects. And if you've never really paid attention, you have some different things in your effects that you can kind of change up. So a lot of times we choose this to be an applique, but I'm going to show you one of my favorite things, and that is right here in this cross stitch. And when I select it, look what happens. It changes to a cross stitch. Well, that one, it doesn't look that great because it's tiny. So I'm going to hit Edit, Undo, so that I can show you a little bit more of what this can do. So right now I have a 1-inch leaf because I'm zoned in to 200%. So let's make that leaf a little bit bigger. I want it about 3 inches is what I'm thinking that I'm going to want this to be. So let's make that a little bit bigger. And I can even change my percent view. Let's go down to 100. So that's a little bit more realistic. And I'm going to make that a little bigger to where I get to about that 3-inch mark. And hopefully now, let's see where I'm at. I'm at 2.98, and I'm good with that. So I'm going to realign that, and then I will go back over here and hit my cross stitch. And you can see how that now looks like a cross stitch leaf. I think that cross stitch is so beautiful, but it's not something that I really would do by hand, but I would stitch it on my embroidery machine. And different things are going to look differently depending on how big that you had, just like you saw me do earlier. So now if I grab it and make it just a little bit bigger, that design is going to change some. So this is definitely one of those things where I'm going to say you need to have a little patience and play with it a little bit. So now I like that. I like how it looks like I've got some vines in my design. So what do I need to do from here? I need to go to File, and I am going to say save as, and then I'm going to save it as a PES file for my embroidery machine. So let me get that pulled up here, and you'll see that I have some choices coming up. There, I can save that as my PES. I've already saved this because it's actually downstairs stitching while I'm doing this. So let me hit cancel and cancel. And I'm just going to open a new page and show you that we can use that same design and do something with that. So let's get a new page started. I'm going to go right back to those craft shapes, select that. That leaf will still be highlighted from where I used it just a moment ago. I can double click or say OK. And here we are with my leaf again. And again, I want this leaf for this project to be about 3 inches. So I'm going to change the size of this a couple times. And again, I'm going to change my percent view just so it's easier to see as I make it bigger. And I am now at almost 3 inches, not quite. I'm going to change it just a little bit more. Let's see how I like that one. So now again, right here, this is an image. I'm going to say File, Export Artwork, because I want to save this as a cut file. And by saving that as a cut file, then I can use it in my cutter. And here it's coming up as an SVG, and I'm going to save that as Leaf Metal. And you can see I've already done that once. And I can tell this one to be Leaf Metal number 2, that kind of thing. Leaf Metal 1, and say save. So now I have this for a cut file. If you have a ScanNCut or if you have a Caesar Romeo and Juliet, this software will send directly to those cutters. So down here, all I have to tell it to do is send to cutter, and I will be ready that I can send that. And it's asking me, what cutter do I want to send it to? Well, of course, I want to send it to my Juliet. So I'm going to send that to my Juliet. Do I want it to start cutting? And I say yes, and it's going to start cutting. So I love that I don't have to go into anything else, and it sent that. So how fast it is, and now that it can cut. And you can hear my cutter cutting over to the side because I'm letting it cut while we're talking. I'm going to say OK and close because I'm done with that. And let's open yet another window. So I'm going to say new here. And we're going to go back and I'm going to show you yet again something else with that same file. So one file in several ways that I can use it. So I am going to bring that leaf back in. I'm going to go ahead and start at the top and put that down to 100%. I'm going to make this a little bigger. You know I am. And you'll notice I always like to take things back to the center. It's just the way my brain is. I'm sorry, I can't help it. So now that I have, I'm going to tell it to fill. And you're going to see that it fills, but I also still have some options. I love that I have some options with this because not all fills are the same. So I'm going to put it on realistic view so that you can see that's what it looks like. Here, let's zoom in just a little bit. So you can see in realistic that you can see those stitch marks, right? Maybe that's a little too much for you. Here. When I select it, I can go over and I can choose a different pattern. That's one of the things that's really nice about this software is that you have control to make changes all the way through. I'm going to tell it to do brick and say apply. My stitch count will change some and the design will change some. I love brick. I love that the way it looks woven in and out. So now that I've created this file, I'm going to save it and I'm going to go stitch it, and then you and I will talk about that. So let's save it, File, and that's Save As, and I'll show you what we're going to do with it. And so I love that because it was one leaf that was built in, so it was free. It was a free file. And how I can save it, I sent it over to Juliet, and I got it to cut. So there is that cut file, and we're going to press that. And you also saw that I had that cross stitch. So there it is. And look at that cross stitch. And then I stitched it as that brick pattern. So that way you can see. So one leaf, 3 different ways. And we did it with software. And you saw in real time how fast I was able to create that SVG and take care of that. How fast I was able to click and create that cross stitch, or how to change that fill. How many of you have ever really played with your fills? Probably not that much, because we kind of get used to one thing. I love brick and monograms. I still love a monogram. I love a big old brick monogram and the way that it weaves in and out. I like, the different choices, and sit there and play with them and click and look and click and look. And even notice how much your stitch count will change, because you may have a design that's 4,000 stitches, and then you could choose a snake skin or something, and it might go up, 6,000 stitches. So those can kind of go into it also. So I like that it's just a click. And Caroline, you are a genius with this. You should be over here teaching this, because you do such beautiful work and show how to use those different fills. So Ashley, thanks for always helping. Liz, it's good to see you. Dorothy, I'm glad you're here from Michigan. I will be up Michigan way in not too long, and I'll get to go visit Tony. So Tony, thanks for listening and being here tonight. Can't wait till we're all together again. So you've seen that I've created some files. So what am I going to do with those? So let me show you. This is something that you can get at the Dollar Tree. And this one says autumn days are the best. That's really, it's cute and everything, but I bought it because I love the frame and I loved this. So what did I do with this? Well, you know that I love a good spray paint. So look, I popped that little 3D image off. And then, and I say I spray painted. I was on the phone at about 5:55 outside spray painting this. So I didn't get all my beads perfect, but I'll go back and fix them. But I did spray paint everything else nicely. So I love, this looks bougie. I like this. If you wanted also, see, this is just on twine. You could run wire to make this stiffer. So I love being able to just take this, and then we could add our different elements inside. Of course, I would, I'd probably stitch this on a linen, but I wanted to show you how quick we could fill that up. Patrick, you did make it. What are you doing today? So we had a big announcement. We added a Caesar member today to our family, and Patrick did a live on that today. And if you don't know who our new family member is, you're going to have to go over to Caesar North America and watch that video and see that live and see that announcement. So I have metallic puff. So metallic puff is a 2-step process, because it's a little extra, right? It's metallic. So I have that first press, 10 seconds, and I'm at 280. And then I'm going to take that carrier off. And it doesn't look dramatic just yet. And I now am putting it back under the press, because it has to have 2 presses. I've got it covered. I'm going to do 280. And I am going to show you what it's going to do then. And I love puff. And if you've not used puff, you don't know what you're missing. So look at that. It puffs. So let's see, how's it going to look in here? That looks like pure artwork right there. So then, how many of you have been making those little tiered trays? So now we have this to put in our little tiered tray, but we can't forget our lives from last week. So we have our cardstock, and the week before we have our little clay bowls, and we have our menu. So you can see how this gold spray paint, gold metal, and gold metallic puff, how that can set your whole mood for your table. And if you're thinking, I don't have time for Thanksgiving, that's okay. You have all the time to do these crafts that we've been doing this month, but just change the image and you can have them all ready for Christmas and for New Year's. So I really, really love. So, you know, we have our tablescape and we're ready. I got to show this one more time because I'm really loving this. Look, can you really see that dimension of that puff? That is gorgeous. I'm telling you, even though I made it, I still love it. They also have another frame at Dollar Tree. And again, I don't get paid anything for talking about them. It is a frame and they have the beads inside of here. That's really pretty. I've got some on order. I usually order it by the case and just go pick them up, but I can't wait to see how they spray paint either. So let's see. Amy says she loves metallic puff, and Kelly is here. And look, I have 3 Caesar resellers right here in a row. So thank you so much. We have Laserbee Studios. We have Mid-South Sewing and Vinyl from Knoxville, and we have Calipat Vinyl in Hurst, Texas. Thank you so much for joining me tonight. And I love seeing all these comments. And yes, you can put metallic over puff, over flock. I think over flock, it looks even better because it really gives it that puff. And not better, but I do love it. Our regular puff, not metallic, but our regular puff is a 1 press. And I really love the way that it looks on top of strip flock. So some excellent things, excellent comments. And so if you haven't seen, we have some new colors of metallic. So I'm going to show those. And I have it taped together. And now, of course, usually I can just pick the tape up, but it didn't want to do that. Can you put it over flock? Yeah, like soccer balls, you can. So some new colors that we have. Dun, dun, dun. And some of them won't seem new because you've seen them in another version. So this is Tiger Lily. And you have seen Tiger Lily in metal. And now we have it in metallic puff. So it looks gorgeous and it really glows. And we have Golden Rose. And then we have a bronze. And you're going to note I have a corner missing out of all of these because I had a reseller reach out the other day and ask me about a color, and I did all of them. And I just did a little ornament in each one and sent her a picture. And then she posted it on social media. And I said, if I'd have known you were going to post a picture, I would have taken a better picture. But then there's one more color. Look at this blue. It's gorgeous. It's absolutely gorgeous. So for Christmas, I'm doing the nativity scene where you see it's kind of just like silhouettes, and it has the wise men and the camel going, and then there's the manger behind it. I'm going to do the scene and the wise men in this, and then I'm going to use this as the manger behind it. So I can't wait to show those colors off. So tell me what would, and I'm having stuff slide over here because I'm prepared. What would you stitch and put in your frame? So you saw that I did the leaf and I created the puff. So what would you create for your table? Because guess what? It's next Thursday. It's going to be here before we know it. How many of you have, already ordered your turkey? Do you cook your turkey? We've talked about, we have assignments of food last week and everybody was kind of saying what they fix. So we know food. Now I want to talk desserts. Tell me, what is your go-to favorite dessert for Thanksgiving? And is it pecan pie or pecan pie? Is it pumpkin pie? Is it apple pie? What's yours? Because my favorite, and I want to see comments to see if somebody else has my favorite, and then I'll chime in what it is. And Ashley, I agree that blue is gorgeous. Gorgeous, gorgeous. Patrick, if you're still here, tell me what your favorite dessert is so that I can hear. We have chocolate sheet cake, coconut meringue pie, pumpkin roll. I forgot about pumpkin roll. We got lots of pumpkin. For me, it's chess pie. I love chess pie. I have a sweet friend, Teresa, that bakes them. One year we did that and I made them for all of my home health patients and delivered them. She didn't know what she was getting into. 40 pies later, we were exhausted and we were still making and delivering pies. But chess pie is I just love it. I love the feeling of Thanksgiving and chess pie. Kelly says no dessert. Oh, lemon chess pie. Yep. I love pecan pie, but I really just like the filling. I don't like the crust. So I just sit there. And I told you last week I eat deviled eggs, but I don't eat the egg part. I'm a little weird. We know that. And buttermilk pie is not quite the same as chess pie. And people don't, if you're not from the South, you don't even realize that, but they do taste a little bit different. So now that we've discussed food, I've showed you what I created for the Thanksgiving table. I will see you next Tuesday night so we can wrap it up before Thanksgiving. Thanks so much for being here with me tonight. I hope you loved the project as much as I did. And I let you know I loved it a lot. Everybody have a great night, and I will see you next Tuesday. Bye, gang.